Hello, good morning, everyone. Though I can only see one in the group, so we are waiting for more to come up. So, good morning, everyone. Everyone that is joining is just saying good morning. So, I love this. So, what of now? Can you hear me? You can't hear me still? Okay, now you can hear me. Good. So, let me remove this so that at least we can all be on the same page. Um, So at least we are 44, and then we can begin. It's just a few minutes session. So thank you. I'm also delighted seeing you here. So and it's going to be a very good weekend for you while you guys are preparing for your matriculations. I wish you a successful matriculations week, and then a good sessions ahead. So all I will continue to say, and I will still repeat it while we are waiting for others. And if you do hear, please you do extend it always to other of your colleagues so that at least you can be a good citizens of the Faculty of Computing. And always set a goal, set a target, have something that you want to achieve every blessing moment, every blessing day, every blessing week, every blessing month, and every blessing semester and a session. And at your end of staying in the Falafia, you can have something going home with it, smiling and be proud of what you are taking home. Not just that you're just taking certificate, but also be proud of the certificate you are taking home with. Because we have some people that they will just come without being proud of themselves. So even we are not praying, even if it takes that you are going, we are home with a third class, so be proud of that third class you are getting. Just make sure it's your heart and third class, not just your abracadabra third class. Yes. So also, if you're taking home back with first class, know that yes, you are taking back home with first class with pride, internal part of you, not people be proud of you, be proud of you, but also be proud of yourself. Believe in yourself. Know that this is what you're taking home with it. So and this is what I have at least for you every time, every moment, and also this morning. I need to pass that information. So I following the previous conversation or following previous sessions, and we've discussed about the server. We look at the router and then the belief server. We look at the advantages. We look at why we need to perform troubleshooting on this or troubleshooting. So the net is like the network is now back. Yes, it's somehow the network is so we are only 24 in the house, which is not impressive at all. So we are going to quickly look at we've been discussing about blade, rack, and then tower. So most of the almost all the questions being asked in the previous class is about this. Rack is not clear, blade is not clear, tower is not clear. So we are going to look at these three equipments of a server. We first of all begin with a server. We know the meaning of a server is a centralized computer system that domiciles every single data into it. That's where your client server can be able to access these computers or this particular computer. So if we take a Tor server, for instance, a Tor server is very based. Now we are going to take as a best practice of a Tor server. It's based for small businesses, and they need very minimal IT equipment. If you're talking about a Tor server, please, I still advise get a paper and pen, write these things down so that we cannot be going back and forth. So they are based for small services, and they need minimum IT requirements. So if we look at the rack, we said rack are very ideal if we talk about enterprises. We give instance last time of a rack server with INEC ad hoc staff being slept over at the rack, and so these data centers, or your needing all your needs, all your requirements are being centralized in a very individual or different or multiple servers. So that is for the rack server. Rack server is very good in enterprises. Tower server is very good in terms of small businesses and need minimum IT requirements. And our Blade server is the base for high density computing. So this is visualizing on a cloud surface. So all these type of servers that we have been using online is at the what? At the discriminant of these blade servers that we are having. So if you're hosting your the domain account, or you're hosting your email website, you're hosting it on a blade server. Your institution is being hosted on a blade server. So these are servers that are centralized on cloud base. So that is for the blade server, rack server, and the tower server. I repeat, tower server are best for small and medium enterprises and required minimal IT equipment. Blade server are based for large and medium enterprises and need larger IT equipment. If you're looking for high density computing equipment or computing servers that you can be able to host it on cloud, it means you are going for a blade server. So these are the three key servers and we are having. So let's quickly look at each here. Why the question here is that where each of this server is going to be work. We said blade is going to be work for your small business, offices, individuals, IT workload. So all these places you can be able to use your blade. So it is commonly used with limited IT equipment. It is commonly used with limited IT equipment. The file storage and backup is allowed on blade servers. Also, your small database and small hosting can be reside on a blade databases. So example of these blade databases, if you have any firm, like a small firm, you have a business center, you have a law firm, you have a medical clinic, you have a rental store. And all this, you want to have a centralized server where you can be able to domicile your record, you can be able to domicile your files, so that you can use other system to navigate and then retrieve those files. It means on you are going to adopt on a blade servers, isn't it? So if again something like institutional, like a school, some small colleges and so on and so forth, like if I'm talking about school, we are talking about this secondary school and whatsoever. So you can be able also to use your blade servers to domicile your datas on them. So that is for the blade, please. And I believe no question will be coming back from the blade, and it's well understood. If you do understood what I said on blade, please can you kindly drop that it is well understood, so that we can move further, because I don't want us to move back and forth, because at the end of this we are wrapping up. If you see us coming back, it means we are coming back for our practical manual. So, but on this very particular lectures, we are going to prepare. See, another one said he doesn't understand. We are talking about blades. We said blades are usually used for small offices, small individuals, homes, and what have you. So they mostly use, or the equipment they need, they required minimum IT equipment. Are we together? They required minimum IT equipment, and where they can be used is your business centers if you want to have a centralized server, your law firm if you want to have a centralized server, your small school if you want to have a centralized server. So these are the places where you can be able to use your blade server. Are we together now? Hey, this 100 level, this is not, this is, I don't think, this are we in secondary school that will be repeating things and repeating things like this? So nonetheless, is it okay now? We can continue to the next, to the Tower server. Someone said it is well, Abdullahi Nasir Musa. So we can continue, right? So if we talk about Tower server now, so Tower server is also good for, that is the best places you can use Tower servers also. You can use them for businesses, for home offices, for individuals and IT workloads. So this of a similar to the previous Tower server we are having here. So here in the here in the rack, sorry, here in the rack, you can be able to use a medium and large enterprise. Is an upgrade of the Tower server that you are having. Is an upgrade of it, so you can be able to use your medium and large enterprises, like a bank that is only operating in one place, like we mostly call these community banks and or microfinance banks that are only having one single branch, or these photo labs studios where they have a large volume of transactions and they require large volume of storage. So they can perform very wonderful in terms of processing data within a very limited space. So this rack server is best used in a large scale web hosting. So if you're hosting your web, that you don't have to have a kind of a traffic on it. My this real Fairfield, Abby, you're asking. You see, some of this thing you're doing is not. You're not doing justice to people. People have been here. They have been going with us, and they have been understanding what we are teaching. And you just of a sudden, you come up and then be asking, what topic is that? You've just been hearing server, server, server. What is your problem? Okay, what we are saying here, we are talking about server troubleshooting. That's what bring about definition of the server itself. We said it's a centralized computer where you can be able to domicile all your documents and file and then other databases on them. So we said it further be classified into three. We have tower servers, which are used for small enterprises and they require limited network, as simple as this. Then we have rack servers, right? We have rack servers. These are used for medium and large enterprises. I give instance for those banks that are having a single branch. So they usually use these rack servers. Example, I keep emphasizing on this INEC of a staff because we usually work with INEC as an ad hoc staff. Period to the day of the election, we usually move to rack. We call it rack, where you can all go there and then slept over for the morning exercise. So in that particular place, they may decide to have a kind of a server where they can domicile some of these their data into the server so that each of the rack member can be able to access the server. So also, if you have a, like this photogenic studio or photo lab studios where they are required to have or to transact with a large volume of files, because we know these JPEGs usually they are coming in RAWs in terms of 800 of megabyte, 1 gig, and so on and so forth. So imagine uh, the number of clients that will now troop into this photo lab studio. So in this, you need a rack server in order to have. So and then finally, the third one we said we have a blade server. So this blade server is usually used for a large scale and has what high density computing like the cloud environment. So anything that you are taking on cloud, anything if they said you are taking on cloud, it means you're using your blade server. Are we together? So now we have three categories of a server. The first one is the tower, which is usually used the small scale enterprise. The second one is the rack, which is usually used the medium enterprises. And the last one is the blade, which usually use a large scale enterprises. So this one has required a large computing or large cloud computing environment where you can be able to domicile your database and you can be expanding as many terabytes as possible. So that is why in database design you should allow a room for expansibility. So this is what we have been able to achieve last time, and this is the most of the questions people have been asking. So, and then today we are going to look at mobile device and maintenance. These mobile devices are the gadgets or the machines that we have been using. So your handset, your tablet, so all these equipment that you can be able to move around with them, except the laptop, are our mobile devices. And how are we going to maintain these mobile devices? So we first of all look at the components we have in the mobile devices. So some of the components we have in the mobile devices, it is not of different with what we have in the computing components. So also we have CPU, that is central processing unit. A mobile is a mobile processor that manages tasks and coordinate and control the activities of your mobile devices. So that is the function of the CPU in mobile devices, just as it does in our computing devices. So we also have RAM, which is stand for random access memory, just like the way we have in our computer devices. It's usually used to store data temporarily in order to support your multitasking. We usually use multitasking in our handset more than what we use multitasking on our computer devices. And multitasking is nothing that just to have the ability of working with more than one application at the same time. So you can believe me, sometimes you will be on TikTok, whereas you need to go to Twitter or Facebook, you now switch on, and sometimes you need to look for where you can be able to at least copy and paste that document you browse on Chrome, and then sometimes you need to navigate to Office, Suite, and the rest. So how and well you manage this your application switching is what we call multitasking. That is ability to work with more than one application on your single devices. So our major functions of our RAM on our mobile devices is to support this multitasking operation. So that is why if the highest you can copy with our smartphones mostly is uh, 3 times. The highest thing we can copy is 3 times. So we copy, then while pasting, we now be pressing on these middle lines of a text. Then we tap on it, then we see what we have copied, then we tap in order to paste. That is the second component. We also have a storage devices, which is regarded to as our internal storage devices, and there are varies of sizes. And typically, what we have the sizes we have today is 32 gig, 64 gig, 128 gig, 264 gig. They are of times two multiplications. So this is the internal storage device, and they are there on our mobile devices to support saving of data permanently. So also we have batteries. So our battery, most of our mobile devices, they use a battery called lithium or lithium ion batteries. So which requires proper charging habit for what we call longevity. So if this lithium, you don't be surprised if you see this thing. We can ask, which type of battery do we use on our mobile devices or on our smartphone devices? So we can say these are lithium ion batteries, so that we use, and the behavior of those batteries is that it allows or it requires regular charging habit. So you charge it now, it will still go down, you still recharge it. It doesn't last for many hours or days. It depends on your usage. So we also have another component called display. Our display here is related to our monitor devices, or monitor devices, or LCD devices on our computer system. So it allows us to get feedback of what we are doing with our handset. Just as we discussed on this very gathering here, so we've been able at least to see each other to via this display. So this display has a a high resolution screen, which is often a soft touch screen, and they are made of a very durable material. Example, they use Gorilla Glass, right, which are very fragile. Once they get hit or stuck on ground, they can easily crash or broke down. So the next we have another component is the camera. This is integrated in form of a front and then rear camera with an advanced sensor for photography. And usually these days, our cameras on our smartphones are using AI, where they can be able to detect your eye, they can be able to detect your nose and the rest, and you can be able to use filter in order just to see how you can be able to correct or beautify some of these things that are there. So we have sensors. These sensors include accelerometer, gyroscope, GSP. We have proximity sensors, and then just a lot of them, including biometric sensors, which we usually use them in our authenticating, or in authenticating our devices, or providing two-factor authenticator to our system. Then the last one we have, or the second to the last one we have here, is interface, network interface. So in a cellular network interface, at present we have 4G, and we are moving, or we almost have 5G. Though sometimes we can upgrade our handset to 3G, or some of these Vivo handset come in 3G. So the higher your the generation, that is the G, the higher performance of your network. And the last one is operating system. Operating system here, it manage all other resources on your computer. And on smartphone devices or on mobile devices, we doesn't call them operating system, we call them iOS. Are you together? iOS, that is Android. Sorry, we have Android operating system, and we have iOS. That is for those people uh, on these iPhones gadgets. So these are the equipments now. How are we going about maintaining those equipments is what matters in this very session that we are in now. We have many sensors. But what I have been able to outline here, we said we have accelerometer sensor, we have uh, gyroscope, that is GYROSCOPE. Yes. Then we have GPS sensor, we have proximity sensor, and we have biometric sensor. So these are some of the sensors we have. But in summary, you can be able to categorize this sensor into two. You can have fingerprint sensor, and you can have facial expression or facial detection sensor, which we usually use on our system, on our mobile devices. So the basic mobile device maintenance tasks you can do, that is regularly, in order to prevent your system from developing faults. One, if you talk about battery care, it means you're expected you are expected in this battery care to avoid letting your battery draining down to a 0% battery. So you should be able to at least exercise you should be able to at least exercise. Who is that person? So someone was asking, the question has just went off. So don't worry about dropping matric numbers, please. I have my ways of getting the attendance. So you should avoid letting your battery to go below 20%. Once you see that your battery is just around 21%, or at worst 20%, you should quickly get to charge them, and you should avoid charging while working with the battery also, or with the device. So you should at least be able to charge whenever your charge getting almost close to 20%. You should be able to replenish your charge, so you avoid exposing your device to an extreme high temperature like a sun or what have you. So whenever it's getting overheat, you should be able to at least switch off your handset. This will at least reduce the pressure of your device get into freeze, just as the same way we maintained our computer devices. So we have storage and maintenance. How are we going to maintain this storage maintenance? We have what we call temporary files. So just the same way we did with that our laptops and then the desktop, the same way we are going to do with this one. The only difference is that this one doesn't have a temp directory, but you can be able at least to be wiping your caches, to be wiping out, deleting unnecessary files, to also deleting your junks. These junks, once you get into your file manager, you can be able to see junks. And these caches, how you go about deleting them, each and every application you know that you're using frequently, you can be able to long press on it and go to apps info. While you are on app info, you can now see force to stop, storage or clear storage. Once you tap on specifically storage, it's like slightly skipping. Once you're on storage, tap on the storage, you will see clear storage and clear cache. I am advising you not to tap on this clear storage, because once you tap on the clear storage, every single of your data on that very application will just wipe away. It will just be like a born again or newly developed application. So the best thing you can be able to do there is clear cache. So once you clear cache, at least there are these temporal files that you have been using without completing your activities. You switch on what we use usually during multitasking operation. They usually pile up at the caching storage. So each of the application you know that you've been using frequently, you should be able to do that cache clearing. So that's how you go about this storage management, and you should always be backing up your data should in case if there is any fault. So we have what we call system update. This system update is very important, because sometimes it can put you into a very hype. Like I have an instance, like if my system been asking me about update every time, and I've been busy, I don't have time to schedule for that update, because once I tap on the update, I don't usually work with the handset. I usually keep it aside. So it happened that whenever I go to bed, I'll update my system. That is all you need to do. Go to your system or mobile settings. Once you're on mobile settings, look for phones. You're on phones, look for update or security and update. Or once you're on setting, you can search for system update. It can take you to that update. So what's happened if I go to sleep, I put my handset on update, but usually on going there, my battery usually used to be very low. So and your update is not allowed to run on a lower battery, because the reason is that your system might get crashed if during that update your device get off. So here it keep on asking me, I keep on skipping. So one day like this, so the system just start freezing. I cannot do anything. It keep on restarting. I cannot do anything, and I don't want to reset my factory. So resetting factory is just the same way you format your laptop and desktop devices. So what I have to do, I need to follow the my mobile device in a very peaceful manner. Whenever it pop up, I will do one activities and then allow it to rest. I will do another activities. That's how I overcome that very particular issue of backup and the rest. So you are advised to always back up your files in order to avoid this storage maintenance. So uh, that's for the system update. So we have screen and display care. So in screen and display care, you're always advised to use protector should in case if there is a scratch or so. Um, Someone was saying I'm too fast, and I don't think I'm fast. We've done a physical class, and in that physical class, you see, I'm not even slow, very slower than this. So, sorry for that, please. So you're always advised to use a protector on your glasses to avoid damages. Avoid um, taking your screen to the sunlight, to any heat environment. So all these form of precautions will at least prevent your mobile device from getting into damage. So you should always try to at least uh, use air compressor if it is necessary. If it is necessary, if it is not necessary, you can just use any good tissue in order to wipe out the dust on your handset. You can remove the cover, wipe it out, and the rest. That is for dust and moisture protection. So app management, your app management, you should avoid installing unnecessary applications. Before you install a application, you are advised to go through the applications and see the requirements. That is a user agreement license. We don't usually attend to this user agreement, but they are very, very important. Some of these applications, they are just there to steal our data for their own consumption. They are not here to help us. So you are advised to always go through this user agreement license in order to understand what they are doing. So if you start doing uh, information security and protection, you will get to understand how they use this license agreement in your day-to-day activities. So we also have mobile device security. So this very particular device maintenance tax, are we having any issue with them, or we don't have any issue? If we have issue, we can attend to that, because at the end of this class, I will be going out. This is 7:42. I will be having a part-time project defense, and it should be this morning. The general topic is talking about mobile device and maintenance, my brother. The PDF will be available. Just keep on checking on my blog under resources. It will be available, God willing, and if possible today. So, but after we've concluded the defense, what if your phone doesn't show any update? If your phone, it depends on the phone, but all this is about marketing. Those people in information technology, when they move into 300 level, they will understand all this thing about marketing strategy. People are bringing this update in order to chip in some certain information or some certain product inside it, or some of their lapses. And this update is depends on the company. Some company may decide to be updating. Like you see, even this iPhone, they've been having what they call, they have been outdating their system from being compatible with some of these WhatsApp, Twitter, and the rest. So this it depends on the peculiarity of the handset you are using. But I advise you, if it doesn't show, move to your settings, search for system update, and see how you can be able to update. If it doesn't show, you can just forget about it. But how do you go about user agreement, seeing that you can make use their resources without agreeing two times? That is the problem we are having. I personally don't usually pay attention to user agreement. Sometimes if we go, we just want to use their system, we just keep on saying yes, 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 and that's the end of how we'll be end of giving out our data, and that's how be the end of penetrating our devices. All these devices that we've been using, they have been monitoring our activities, because our data, I said, for the PDF, just continue looking at my blog precisely in the evening, please. I will drop. The only thing, I just need to have some retouch on the PDF. So before the CA, we are going to have the resources. And in fact, some like course rep cybersecurity was complaining regarding these. Regarding their orientation, and I don't know, is this orientation only for cybersecurity or faculty of computing? So nonetheless, we are going to consider each and every activities that we are going to be having. So is the storage device the same thing with ROM? Yes, we can say that the storage device is ROM is under storage devices. So you see, in this case, we can say it is the same because it's part of the storage devices, and it's a medium where you can be able to use to store data temporarily. Like if you have any compact disc or DVD disc or DVD player that you want to write, or what we call burn, you burn it, like BURN. You want to burn a content or a data into that particular CD or DVD. So or DVD place. So you can use your DVD ROM as a medium, and your DVD ROM is what we call ROM. So you see it's under storage devices. So it depends on how you put it. So that is it. I believe we don't have any issue with these mobile device tax. So what we are going to look at here is mobile security. So how far are we going to have our to dodge? So we set you are advised to set a screen lock, and this screen lock can be on biometric authentication, facial authentication, or using PIN authentication. So you can set PIN authentication. So you can set these your devices in order to lock automatically after some. So with this, you can protect any unauthorized user to access your system. Also, you should be able to have what we call application permission. So what you are saying here, you should be able to review application restriction, like the access control to your contact. Most of these applications, if you are trying to install them, they will ask you to grant permission so that they can access your contact. So you can deny them. It's nothing. So if it is not something like is seriously required of you to use, I'm not advising you to be reviewing. Camera locations are okay, but these are some of the application permission we usually grant. We usually grant permission for access to contact, permission for access of location. So these are some of these security tips we need to adopt on our systems. You enable device, sometimes you enable device tracking remote if it is necessary for you, but these are mostly used for the children, and you are advised to install antivirus on your devices. So this is what we have. The material will be ready. If you have any question, we still have like 5 or 4 minutes, so we can still address the questions, since it's like the network is fully back. So if we don't have any question, so we can just call it a day, and then meet any Monday. I will be busy. I don't think we will be having that practical, how to go about filling our practical manual on Monday, but probably Wednesday, yes. Wednesday, we will be having